Hey guys, so today's video is actually a pretty highly requested one over the past few years, and I haven't actually done anything similar to this, so it's going to be my must-have beauty tools, and I'm mainly going to talk about brushes. I generally get a lot of questions about what brushes I use, what are my favourite brushes and things like that, but I thought I would do all tools in this video as well, just to tell you what my all-time favourite kind of tools for doing my makeup are, and what I tend to use the most, and what I think is a good kind of starter kit if you're thinking about investing in new brushes, because they can be really expensive, but if you look after them they really last a long time. Some of the ones I have here are 4, 5, 6 years old already, and they still look like brand new if you take care of them well. So let's get started with brushes. Basically, for my general day-to-day makeup I tend to use about 6 brushes. I tend to gravitate towards the exact same ones every time. They're the ones that I always wash the most, that I love the most, and they just definitely get the most use. I'm actually showing 7 in this video because I've got 2 foundation brushes that I love equally and I cannot decide between them, and they are these 2. I've actually spoken about these probably more than any other brushes that I'm going to show you today, so I'm going to go through them quickly. The first one is the Sephora Pro Small Stippling Brush, which is the number 42. I love this for liquid foundation to really kind of work it into the skin and buff it in, and I tend to use this if I have more time to do my foundation, if I'm not in as much of a hurry. If I am in a bit of a hurry, I love using this one, which is the Sigma 3D HD, or is it HD 3D? 3D HD, which is this kind of like double angled synthetic brush. And that's another thing I should say for foundation. I think synthetic brushes are the absolute best. They just blend better and work better with that kind of texture. Moving on to face brushes, my 2 favourites are from a brand called Hakuhodo, which is a Japanese brand. Hakuhodo are my kind of most expensive brushes that I've ever bought, but in general they've lasted a long time. The first one I got about 5 years ago, and then I've built up a collection of 5 or 6 of them over the years. These are my 2 face brushes that I use all the time. This is a blush brush, and I like this because it's medium sized. It's not too big, but equally it's not tiny either, so it doesn't take you a long time to build up the colour. It's beautifully soft. All of the Hakuhodo brushes are just incredibly well made. It's a nice shape as well because it's got that kind of flat top, but it's not, you know, it's not too round. It's really good for blusher. And then for bronzer and also for contouring as well, I like to use this one, which is also from Hakuhodo. It's an angle brush, but it's quite small. You do see some of these angle brushes that are huge that you kind of could probably only use for bronzer, but this one works quite well for contour as well because it fits quite nicely into that like kind of little under the cheekbone area. I really love this, and then I sometimes use this for highlight as well. It's a bit big for highlight, but in general I will kind of contour and highlight with the back of this brush, almost like that. And then I have 3 brushes for my eyes that I use all the time, and 2 of these are actually from Hakuhodo as well, but it's the general kind of shape and the style of the brush that I would recommend. So for my eyes, I can get away with using just these 3 brushes, doing pretty like most looks, to be honest. The first one is this one, which is from Hakuhodo as well. This is a flat shadow brush, and I really like this because even though it's flat, it's still quite fluffy, so it's actually really good for applying eyeshadow, and it also, you can use it to kind of blend it out a little bit as well if you're in a hurry. And I like the end of this brush as well because it's still quite pointed, so if you want to like work stuff into the crease or just along the lash line, you can be a little bit more precise with it. And then the other Hakuhodo brush that I absolutely love is this little pointed pencil brush, and I use this a lot for applying eyeshadow underneath my lower lash line, and also if I'm doing a little bit of a darker kind of upper lash as well, I'll use it on my upper lash line. Really love that, and that's one of my kind of most used makeup brushes in terms of any makeup look that I'm doing because it's just really versatile. You can also use it for blending out gel liner if you're going for like a smoky eye and you want to use a gel liner, or cream liners, things like that, like creamy pencils. It works really well. And then last but not least is another one from Sephora. This is from the Sephora Pro range, and it's their tapered crease brush, which is number 19, and I really like this because it's big and fluffy enough to blend out any of your eyeshadow, but it's also tapered at the top as well, so it's slightly pointed, which allows you a little bit more precision in your blending and application. Moving on to other tools. For eyelash curlers, these are a cult classic and the ones that everybody talks about. My favourite are the Shu Uemura ones, and I just love these. They're the most effective eyelash curlers. They're not the cheapest, but they last for absolutely ages. For tweezers, I've got to say the best tweezers I've ever had are from Tweezerman, and I got this set a few years ago from Sephora, and it came, these are meant to be like the travel ones, but to be honest, they're big enough and I've never had any issues like needing bigger ones. They come with the slanted tweezer and then also the like really pointed, precise tweezer, and I find that these are actually really useful. If you have gotten by with having this kind of normal slanted tweezer style tweezer for a long time, it's a really good idea to get these because they allow you to get much shorter hairs. Just when it's grown a few millimeters, you can really get in there and get it easily, and you can avoid plucking out any ones that you don't want to as well, because it is very they're very slim and they're very sharp as well. You have to be very careful with these. A quick mention as well I almost forgot is my beauty blender. I think these are slightly overpriced, but I have to say they are really good, and every other sponge that I've tried that's been an imitation of this or a kind of wannabe beauty blender has not been as good. Something about them is just really great. I always use mine damp and they just apply foundation like nothing else. They look really amazing. I don't use this all the time because I find them a faff to wash. Even if you have the right soap, they take a lot longer than makeup brushes to wash. So I use these generally if I am doing my makeup for a special occasion or something like that. But they are really good, and if you've been wondering if they're worth the hype, beauty blenders really are good. One thing I would say, the mini beauty blenders, I have bought those before, and I don't think they're worth it. I don't think they're really that much easier than just using the pointed end under your eye and around your nose and stuff. So I wouldn't recommend splashing out on those, but the original beauty blender I would, and yeah, I'm a big fan of that. And then last but not least, when it comes to cleaning your tools, I would recommend getting one of these. I only got this fairly recently and I've used it a couple of times to clean my brushes, and it is so good. It's from Sigma and it's basically a big silicone mat that you put in your sink, and then you run the water, you have your soap, and you use it to wash your brushes on. Now normally I would wash my brushes on my hand, and if you have a couple of brushes, that's fine, it works really well, you probably don't need to invest in this. If you do have a lot of brushes and you want to clean them all at the same time, you're going to get very sore hands doing it against your hand. But this also gives you a lot better results as well. So you're rubbing your brushes against all these textures, so you've got the face and the eyes are on separate sides, so you've got the initial wash for your face, and then you've got the refine, so you give it an extra clean on there, and then you've got Refine Plus for the face and Refine Plus for the eyes, and then you've got rinsing mats as well, which goes just underneath where the water falls, so you can rinse them. It just speeds up the process of cleaning your brushes and also makes it a lot more effective. You can also buy a mitt version as well, that you do it on your hand, so if you want to do it on your hand, you can do that as well, but they're really good. They're quite pricey, I have to say, but if you're into your brushes and you want to take care of your good brushes, if you've invested in them and you spent a lot of money, I would definitely recommend checking these out in terms of cleaning. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope some of you found it useful. Thank you if you requested a brush or a tool video. I've noticed a lot of people asking for it recently, so I hope you found it useful, and I will see you again on Friday with a new video. Bye guys. Hey guys, welcome back. So today I'm talking about new beauty releases this month, January 2016. I'm really excited. There are some serious goodies this month. So starting off with drugstore, kind of lower end, more affordable